What's up, YouTube? It's your Huckleberry here, back with another reaction video. So we're going to be reviewing a video from Anton Daniels. He's got an interesting channel where he just does reactions much like this. We're going to react with him about people that used to be racist and now aren't so much racist. Perhaps they didn't realize they were racist. Not contextually sure what we're going to see here, but without further ado, let's just get into it and let's see what's going on here. All right, let's get it.
2 years ago, 2 years ago, I was racist. I hated white people. I didn't think I hated white people. I'll be real, I didn't think I did until the Lord checked my heart and He said to me, "You know you're racist, right?" And I said, "Nah, you can't be telling me that. I ain't racist. Like, black people can't be racist, right?"
So I've heard that argument a whole lot. That's a real bad misconception because the definition of racism has nothing to do with what your race is. It's how you feel towards other races. And I've heard this argument where black people say you can't be racist against white people, only white people can be racist against black people. And that comment within itself is almost racist. So it's interesting for her to have this realism and realize that's not a thing, like that's not possible.
And He revealed to me the hatred I have in my heart was passed down from a generational teaching that was taught through family and whatnot. Now, when that was revealed to me, that's when my family and we moved down south to South Carolina. I'm originally from Maryland. I'm from PG County. So in that area, it's predominantly black. That's all you see is just, black everything, just black richness, the melanin, everything. That's all you see. Beautiful representation in the area. That's all I knew, literally, until I moved away. And I didn't think I had hatred towards whites until I was around whites down south. I didn't know how to feel about them. I didn't know how to necessarily act around them. Now, mind you, I have worked with white people before. I have, but I still had my mixed views about them due to what I was taught. And that's just that. But here's what made me look at white people differently. When I brought my children to school down south in South Carolina, and the city that we live in is very conservative based, so it's not just a Republican state, it's also conservative based too. And the way how those teachers listened to me when I addressed my concerns about my children and their education and everything, it blew my mind how understanding. They was very compassionate. I remember them even apologizing to me for what I went through with PG County schools, because Prince George's County schools, for anyone that lives there, they know it is horrible.
So, regardless of whether most people admit it or not, especially within the black community, a lot of the hatred that they have towards other groups of people, specifically white people, is handed down to them. And then now that we have social media, it is confirmed, it is reiterated. The trauma bonding is across the board where people are looking for and then they are handed based off of what it is that they're searching and their algorithm confirmation that, hey, listen, it's okay to hate other people, it's okay to hate white people. They will justify it, they will spin a narrative, they will say, oh man, it's okay, it's not okay, it is, the best thing, the worst thing, whatever. We can't be racist because we have no institutional power to be able to create a system that oppresses white people. Bro, all you got to do is go into some of these living rooms over on Thanksgiving and let something with regard to a white person and now probably Trump come up, and some of the most hateful things that you have ever heard in your entire life will be spewed. Now, of course, there's going to be people that push back because they want their institutional racism. They want how they feel to be confirmed. They don't want to change who they are. And the older that they get, the more set in their ways they become, which is very interesting that this woman is talking about it because she's basically saying that her change of heart had to come from being divine. So the information could be out there for you. You can research it. You can know that you're supposed to treat people based off of the content of their character instead of the color of their skin. And it goes both ways, obviously. But black people think that they're justified in hating other people or hating white people. And it even goes as far as how they start to vote against their own best interests because they think that they're doing themselves a favor by hating somebody else, but it never works out beneficial for you when you start to hate other people. And they don't think that they're racist. And so it's very interesting to hear this woman's story.
Horrible. It is so bad. I mean, the system is beyond messed up. Like, it's just bad. So when they saw the issues that my kids have, they placed them in developments that they need to be in school. And when I tell you 2 years later, my children are doing so well. They have progressed so fast, and it's such a blessing to me. And I remember I was telling my sister, I said, I wish kids in PG County, I wish that they can experience this. I was like, every kid in Prince George's County.
So she's referring to the county in Maryland. And to go back on his point and what she's saying, you get taught this at home, but then the schools kind of perpetuate it as well. And there's a real concern with the way and with what schools are teaching nowadays, being biased in what they teach and not really teaching history or facts or just sidestepping perspectives to fit narratives and whatnot. And the worse their school system, the worse that's going to be. It sounds like when she got down to South Carolina, that the teachers were very receptive of her past grievances at the school system, and they helped red pill her, so to speak, with their actions and the progress that her kids made.
Should experience what my kids are experiencing down here in South Carolina, and it grieved me. I said it's not fair that these policies that they have in place in Maryland, and all the people do is vote blue in Maryland because that's all we know. But moving away from a blue state to a red state, it gave me an awakening that I needed to have. And like, honestly, when the Lord revealed my heart,
I'm going to say just the opposite for me. When I moved from Georgia, I mean, I get that, Georgia's right on the fringe now. That's typically just because of the downtown Atlanta area. Predominantly the state is a red state, and it has been a red state. But when I moved out to Oregon, kind of the opposite effect happened to me. I didn't realize just how different the mindset was. And of course, this happened about 12 years ago when I made that move. And it was right when social media really started taking off. And then a lot of your activist programs or organizations started, like the Me Too movement and the BLM and everything in between and after. And ultimately, the way society is and how it's different can really affect you. That's how I lost my job out here. I've always been the same person, but out here in a blue state, there's a lot of sensitivity and there's a lot of like entitlement and things like that, especially the youth kind of get indoctrined with, that affects other people. Like in my situation, I just had to come face to face with an HR department that wasn't very accepting and had nothing but complaints from very liberal minded like students about me. And eventually that just kind of took its toll. So in retrospect, it's kind of the opposite. I can see where she would move from blue to red and she would see like an awakening for her with values and compassion and things like that. And then I moved from red to blue, and I kind of have the opposite thing happening to me, which is ironic to me because the left tries to plant their flag in love over hate and compassion for all, but it's only when it fits their narrative. Me being an older, white, straight male, I don't really fit what they go for when it should be everybody. And that kind of goes into the mindset that she's talking about. In blue states, even white people say you can't be racist towards white people, and that's just a messed up ideology. So it's very gratifying to see that what this woman went through moving to South Carolina.
as far as like how I felt about people who are not my race, I had to repent, of course. It gave me a sense of grief for myself on the things that I missed out on due to the racism that I had in my heart about whites. But now, fast forward, I welcome everyone with such love and respect. I do. I really do. And
That's dope.
the way how
Very
red
dope.
states with conservative based cities, because I know every red state doesn't have conservative based cities. There are red states that have.
Texas, Houston, the biggest city in Texas, is very.
And just like I was just saying, Georgia, where I'm from, Atlanta is overwhelmingly blue. So much so that it's almost got the state to flip blue. That kind of voter fraud.
Very blue. Dallas, even though the mayor switched over to being red, is very blue. There's states, even in red states, large metropolitan areas tend to be blue. That's just the way that it go.
Yep.
No matter what kind of red state that you in, most areas tend to be blue.
Yep.
Democrat cities. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about red states with conservative city base, like all red all around.
Yep.
I noticed how the local businesses invest in the schools. I noticed how the teachers are happy to teach the children. I
Yep.
noticed how these school classrooms
It's
are
a whole nother
not
conversation.
overpopulated.
Whole nother
I
world.
noticed that these teachers are caring, they're loving, they make you feel involved, they make you know that they basically let you know that.
I'm glad he said that. A whole nother world. That's what I'm saying. Like when I came out to Oregon, it didn't really like click with me that things could be that much different. I'm still in America, right? I mean, why would it be any different? Georgia, Louisiana, Florida, Montana, Oregon, Texas, New York, whatever. Why would it be any different? But it is. It very much is. And even here in Oregon, predominantly, like most rural areas in Oregon are red. But the state is overwhelmingly blue because of how many people are concentrated in the Metro Portland area. I saw a demographic of counties across the United States. It took out the state lines and it just made county lines. And the country itself is way more red than blue. And it's just what he was saying. Your big cities, what she's alluding to, just your big cities: Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago, New York, L.A., Portland, Seattle, Denver, places like that are just highly concentrated and highly blue. Um, yeah, it's a world of difference. It's like living in another world. It really is, especially nowadays. 20 years ago, maybe not so much. My buddy moved out to Oregon 25 years ago, and I don't think that was so much the case with him. I think it's been evolving that way because, again, media, fake news, divisiveness, all that kind of stuff has just kind of put a huge wedge in between people. And now you got people that, you know, unfriend other people or, like disown them or whatnot based on their political views, which is asinine. Back in the 90s, that wasn't a thing. My mom would be a Democrat, my stepdad would be a Republican, or vice versa, or whatever. They were able to talk about the differences and live together and everything. But now that's just not a thing, and that's really sad. And I'm glad that she's bringing this up and that he made a video about it.
You are not alone. Like, we are a team. And they don't dismiss your feelings. They don't gaslight you. They don't do any of that. Like, you actually feel like an actual human being around these people. And I'm talking about all kinds of people: black, white, Hispanic. There's all kinds of people that live down here where I live at. But I want kids to experience the same things that my kids are experiencing in my hometown.
And the first way that you have to do that is you got to divest yourself from this hateful mindset that we think that the world is against us. Is there going to always be racist people, whether you're black or you white? Absolutely. But that doesn't have to control you. And the possibility of you running into those type of people and they affecting your way of life is slim to none nowadays. I mean, so much so to where people are trying to like overcorrect for all of the stuff that they think that we're still going through. And it's just not beneficial. I see people build their whole platforms off of the hate that they may have had for an entirely different race or group of people. And you cut your nose off, you cut your opportunities off, you cut your friendships off. You really limit yourself for what you can achieve because you still got that deep-seated hate in your heart.
I don't know how it can be
Can't live
done
like
because,
that, bro.
again, Maryland has been blue for
and
decades.
never benefited.
I mean, decades. It's been blue since.
For a long time. And Baltimore is probably one of the worst cities to live in. You know, it's. I had a great aunt that used to live in that area, and it's always been bad news up there. I mean, the crime rate in Baltimore is second to almost just maybe Detroit, Chicago. That's like it's really bad.
I was a baby, and it was blue before then. I don't even think if Maryland was ever red before. I can't even recall. But I believe every kid.
It was red when Reagan won. In the 80s, the only state I think that didn't vote for Reagan was Minnesota, ironically. Um, so there's another city. Minneapolis is a real problem, obviously. We all know that from the news. But I think probably the last time that Maryland voted red was for Reagan.
Kids should experience that type of level of education. I believe that every parent should be able to have the option of the child going to a different school, like school choice. I believe that kids should just be able to experience those things.
Yep.
But the fact that these blue Democrat cities, they keep defunding these schools, man. They keep defunding these schools. They keep gentrifying the area. They keep building housing within the area. You see nicer houses than you do with these schools. And I don't think that's fair for the kids. My daughter was telling me when she was in Maryland, she said, Mom, when we were living in Maryland, she said, I'm not gonna lie, with us wearing those uniforms and the way how the classrooms were set up, I felt like the school system was preparing me for jail.
Mm.
My daughter's
Damn.
10, and
That's
she said that to me.
crazy.
That's a hot take from a 10-year-old. Like, to feel like that, to even think about something like that when you're 10 years old, wow, that'll make you think right there. Something's definitely awry.
She said schools down here in the South is not like how it was in Maryland. And she said you could not pay me to go back. Like my daughter does not ever want to go back to Maryland to live, ever. Because her experience down here in South Carolina. So I don't know if there's a way for Maryland to turn red, but they should try it. They should try it. They should like let go of the lies that was told unto them. I had to let all the lies go. I had to let it go because it did nothing for me. There was no progression with holding on to the lies that those Democrat politicians will tell you. It's like they gaslight you and they love bomb you with racism and all these stupid like rhetorics. And then they get in office, they don't do nothing besides raise taxes and defund everything. And they do things for other people. Yeah, they do things for other people and they don't help the people that actually put them in office. And
Right.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. And my video is mad long, but I just want to talk about that because it's just something that I just noticed and I just picked up. All right, that's it. That's all I have to say.
No,
All
I
right, I
think
love
that
y'all. Talk
all of
to you
that is
later.
dope.
Bye.
I think that's fair. And everything that she's saying is awesome. And I'm glad that she's released herself from that so that she now can benefit from it and give herself and her children. Forget her, she's not passing this generational trauma down to her children.
Yeah, guys, that was a good video, and Anton's right, and I'm really glad that she made that video and that he reviewed it, and we got to see it together. It's enlightening and it's hopeful to see that, and I hope that that message can get spread more. But anyway, guys, drop me a like down below if you liked the video. I really appreciate it. I'm your Huckleberry. You can call me Huck. Peace.